How's it going, everyone? Another match, another disappointing result for Orange County SC fans. And it's not going to get any easier as they look at a midweek matchup coming up against the top of the West in Sacramento, and then a Saturday match against the ever so popular here in Orange County, Phoenix Rising. We'll get into that. We also have a scheduled guest to join us and a lot more. It's time for some fun. Let's have some fun here. Welcome to the Podcast of Champions. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. Follow us on Twitter at OCSC_SoccerCast or on Facebook at Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
How's it going, Orange County? Welcome to another episode of the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. I'm your host, Ray Zamora, and I'm here to take you through this journey as we discuss all things Orange County Soccer Club. And joining me this week to help out with this task, we've got Mr. Nathan, County Line Coalition member, and also a contributor on our website with a lot of written stuff. Nathan, congratulations. First time you've ever been introduced first, I believe, on the podcast. And B, how are things going for you outside of Orange County Soccer Club? How are things going in your life in general?
Yeah, things are going pretty well, I'd say. Trying to do it into like the college scene, I'd say. Work going well. Life going well. Can't complain about any of it, really.
Can't complain about the stuff that truly matters, although on this podcast, there's something that matters to a lot of us, the people that listen, those of us that contribute to this. Oh, and by the way, Nathan's the only one helping me out tonight, unless any of our other co-hosts are able to sneak in here. I know a lot of them are busy with life stuff, but hey, we're still going to make this fun. We're going to try and do stuff. That means I had to actually sort of look into some stats and pay attention to what happened in the match this past weekend. I will try and help out as much as I can. I'm going to admit there was a couple times where I turned it off out of frustration, then turned it back on to continue watching, and then turned it off again due to some frustration. We will get into all of that. But before we get to the on-field, like the action on the pitch, we do have an update from the topic that we talked about last week, which was the alleged use of a homophobic slur on the pitch by an Orange County player. We've now come to learn the outcome of that, and that player was Kevin Partita. Kevin has been suspended by the league for 6 matches for his actions on the pitch. He did come out with a statement shortly after the announcement on there, and his statement was basically, first and foremost, I want to unequivocally and take responsibility for what took place without any excuses and express the remorse felt immediately after and in the time since. I understand the severity and harmfulness of this word and want to apologize to the San Diego Loyal players and club, my club, our league, our fans, and the LGBTQ plus community for not upholding the values established by all. I recognize the extensive work done to promote inclusivity and reject discrimination in our sport, and my actions were detrimental in these values, which I also believe in. I fully accept any and all consequences, and I commit to being more thoughtful at all times, on and off the field, as well as hold myself to a higher standard. So let me say, regardless of what anyone's opinion on the what the punishment was, because I know there are some people that thought it should have been more harsh. I thought there were some people that thought it was warranted based on what we've seen from other aspects, things that have happened in other leagues. And there's some people that thought it was unnecessary or too harsh. So we're not here to debate that. That was the outcome of that. But I do want to say props to everyone involved, the clubs, the league, for quickly resolving this. Hopefully Kevin's response or his statement is a genuine statement. It's not someone that, typed up a statement for him and he read it out. I from reading it and from what I feel, what I know, it seems like a very genuine statement. And hopefully in the end, right, hopefully it was a learning experience for all, not just Kevin, but for everyone, right? And this is part of growing is, and this is something I teach my young kids all the time, is you're going to make mistakes in life. You're going to do stuff that you shouldn't do, sometimes worse than others. But all you can do is take accountability and grow and learn from it. And if you grow and learn, it means you won't make those same mistakes in the future. Then you've succeeded, at least in that. Yeah, obviously something bad happens, it sucks, but you move on for it, you learn, and you take ownership of it. That's all you can ask for. And that's what it seems that happened on here. I know some of you can potentially look at, what happened and again, look at what happened in other leagues. Nathan, your thoughts. Again, I don't want to get into the debate of the punishment. That's something that can happen on social media, but what are your thoughts? Is this a conclusion? Do you appreciate everything that happened and Kevin's statement, or is there any concerns in your mind from any of that?
I mean, it's just all around honestly, it's a bad look for everyone, I'd say. Like, it's the heat of the moment. It's a rivalry game, but it's just some things that you just cannot, under any circumstances, say to anyone, anything. So I feel like the apology was sincere. I do feel like it was a just punishment, and let's just put this to bed. Learning experience for all of us, I say, and just move on.
And in all honesty, right? Even us as people not involved in that, fans and stuff, it was a learning experience. I know last week our co-host Larry shared, how he learned from this experience, and hopefully in the end, everyone that was involved, including Kevin, anyone else that may have been in the heat of the moment at the club, any fans, we've all grown from it. We've all learned from it. We've become better people. And the only way you prove that happens is you don't make the same mistakes twice. But again, no one's perfect in this world. I've made mistakes. I'm sure, Nathan, you've made mistakes in your life. My kids make mistakes all the time, and we have to punish them for stuff. And I just tell them, learn from it, grow, become better people, and don't make those mistakes again. So that's what will help on there. Hopefully, no more issues like this in the future, not just from Kevin, but from anyone involved with the team, anyone involved with the league, heck, anyone involved with, life in general, right? Now let's talk about the fun stuff. This past weekend, Orange County made the trip up the coast to Oakland. Actually, they made the trip to Hayward, I believe is where Cal State East Bay is located. Let me just say this. I tried watching the stream on both my TV and my phone, and I don't know if it was just me and maybe I had a weird stream connection, but it looked really dark once the sun went down. And, early in the match, it's nice and light because the sun's still shining. But I feel like as you got later in the match, it seemed really dark all around that stadium or that pitch. I don't know if it was just me. Nathan, did you experience that same thing when you were watching the stream as it got a little bit later into the match, that it was a little dark?
I mean, yeah, like, I wouldn't say it's like probably the best venue to host a soccer game, because like I think at East Bay, there's only bleachers on like one side of the court or the pitch, whatever, and so like the lights probably just only cover the field. So yeah, it probably looked a little dark. See, like right here in highlights, it's just, yeah, like you can barely tell what's going on towards the goal line, and so definitely I think just more the venue it was at rather than stream.
Yeah, and and it could have just been a play in my eyes, because basically anywhere but the stands and the pitch is pretty much like just pure darkness around the stadium. And I know anyone that watches stuff at our stadium, there's stuff that's outside of the stadium. There's a bunch of lights outside of the stadium, so you're going to see a lot of light surrounding the stadium. Obviously, for East Bay here, it's pretty dark. Now let's talk about what happened on the pitch. We just watched on the highlights, if you're watching live, the first goal, and we got the great replay to come up and see more of this. I would say unlucky deflection there. I believe it was, Dylan Powers with an unlucky deflection there, right to the Oakland goal scorer for an easy just blast into the net. Nothing anyone could do on that. Is there anything to blame on that? I get it. Like, the coverage leading up to that deflection was, maybe, yeah, I think, was this the one where there was like a really bad giveaway that led to it, or was that a future goal? I can't remember.
No, it was this one. It was this one.
Okay, it was that one.
Yep.
Yeah. So the bad giveaway, I forget who gave it away. I'm not even going to look back at it. You might remember, Nathan, if you want to call it the name, go for it. But the defense did track back, and again, I think it was Dylan Powers that got his foot on the ball. That's what you train anyone that's in front of the goal. You at least try and get your foot on the ball and get it out of there, or at least get a deflection. So if there's someone waiting to blast that in, it's deflected. Just unfortunately goes right to the Oakland player. Other than the sloppy giveaway, we can't really blame too much on the defense if there or the goalie there because they did what they're supposed to do, right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Nathan. You can totally disagree with me if you want.
I mean, it's not like we can blame the defense, but like I can remember, like this is our two center backs on Saturday are not center backs. They are midfielders by trade. And the first goal, it's a bad back pass again. And it's frustrating to watch, honestly. Like, nothing you can really do about it.
And then one of the other things I noticed that really hurt Orange County a lot was the pace on that right side for Oakland. Orange County just could not keep up with the pace on the right side. I remember there was one of the moments I was watching, Dogman just like looked like he was jogging compared to whoever it was out there. It might be the guy that we're looking at right now, or it might have been someone else. But man, Orange County looked like 4 steps slow on the defense. And like you said, not natural defenders for some of those positions, which we'll get into that. That's deja vu. That seems like last season problems. And we thought we had solved those coming into the season. How do you deal with pace like that? I mean, Orange County really they don't have anyone on their wingbacks that are pacey like that, right? If I can recall.
No, I mean, it's not really. Like, if you really want to, like, defend against, like, speedy wieners when you don't have the speed to match that, I'd say it's really just, like, don't play a high line. You can't do any fast breaks, can't do any counters. And, yeah, so I think at this point, it was probably the worst team we would play against, I'll say that, in a very fast team in Oakland that just killed us on that right side, down the middle. So, yeah. I mean, move on.
Yeah, no, Oakland's pace really hurt Orange County in this, and you could see there the first 2 goals from Formella and Murad. I mean, if you look at the game flow chart, I mean, it's all green there. There's little tiny slivers of red going on, which is the Orange County. I think it's supposed to be orange, but it's more red. And then the green for Oakland. There's a lot of green in that section. Towards the end of the match, obviously, with Orange County trailing, there's going to be more pressure from them. They're going to have a little bit more pressure, probably more possession, as Oakland is sitting back just trying to preserve the match and preserve the 3 points. And then they get a third goal in that as well. Was there anything that you saw, Nathan, any bright side from this match at all that you can leave and be happy with? Or is this something where you just have to throw away everything that happened to this match, move on, and face the number 1 team in the West in Sacramento now?
I will say the one good thing that I will mention is that if you look at like that flow chart thing we just saw, as soon as like the graph started going in our favor was about when Owen Lambie, is it Lamb or Lambie? I'm not sure how it's pronounced yet.
Honestly, I don't know yet, and I sort of wasn't watching most of the part where he came on. I saw him come on, but I didn't really pay attention much in there because at that point I was sort of just disgusted by the match. And yeah, anyone that wants to, you can bash me all you want for not being, a true fan and watching the whole match, but I was just over it at that point. And I saw him come on the pitch. I thought that was pretty awesome. Maybe I should have been more excited and watched it at that point, but that's someone, right? That was one of those signings that a lot of Orange County fans were excited about. And we haven't gotten a chance to see him yet. So hopefully that's a big opportunity for some improvement. And I guess if you're correct, Nathan, like from when he came on, all that good red there is Orange County stuff. So again, some of that has to do with probably Oakland conceding possession, dropping back, sort of parking the bus a little bit to try and just preserve the 3 points. But part of it can be Owen jumping onto the pitch and creating a little bit of action out there. But good. I guess that's the positive you're looking at, right? Is we've seen Owen now. Maybe we'll see some more for him, and maybe he'll make a big impact for this club.
Yeah, no, I definitely like. We definitely had the better play for it's like 10 minutes or so. Like he just put in good balls, helps us as a right back. Kind of like somewhat like facilitated the offense for a bit, which we shouldn't really say that as our right back, but it was definitely like a needed spark, I'll say.
And Russell wants us to discuss something. We will get to this, Russell, really quick here, but I want to talk about, are we concerned? Last season, one of the biggest topics on this podcast was the lack of depth in the defense, especially the center back position. With Rob Kieran out all season, we had, I'm so like crazy frustrated right now. I forget, I can't remember names right now. We had like one defender, and it was like the main guy.
Was it right here?
Oh, there you go, Michael Russell. They see. I need to look at your screen, and then I'd be able to get the answer right. And then it was like makeshift. It was just throwing in whatever we can. Our of course, our favorite Albie Skenny played a lot back there and got bashed a lot on our podcast because of it. I felt like we were all pretty excited that Orange County sort of fixed that depth issue by signing a lot of good defenders, and lo and behold, we go into this match and we don't have defenders for some of those positions. Is this, 2022 all over again? Are we going to have issues like this all season? Are you concerned about that, Nathan? Or is this maybe just a one match thing and we're going to be back to normal, hopefully on Wednesday?
See, and honestly, last season, I'd say we looked somewhat decent by this point in the season. We weren't like playoff team by any stretch, no. But it's just, I feel like it was a little bit more consistent in that we actually had a plan. I think this game, the injuries to the back line, it was injuries or sickness or what, but so I think we're probably in for a bad year, if not worse year than last season, which is really hard to say, but yeah. So I mean, in for the long run, as I like to say. Just have to.
Yeah. So let's talk about what Russell was asking, right? Discuss and his question is, or his statement is, discuss the fact that it's game 2 of the new coach, and we haven't seen any meaningful difference in play. Obviously, I think I was one of the first ones to say it's very difficult midseason to make major changes to tactics, because when you bring in certain players, you bring them in to fit a specific type of system, and that's what you've trained all preseason. You've trained so far this season, and that's what was done with this. And it was really, really, the club was really vocal about this. Was Coach Richard Chaplow's first true offseason to bring in his players and the tactics that he wants to put on this team. So the players that were brought in were to fit Coach Richard Chaplow's tactics and what he wanted to do. Now, obviously, we flash back a couple seasons ago when Braden Cloutier is released. Richard Chaplow comes in and changes up some tactics, and it worked. And we went on a run. We had the players that can work in those tactics. We won a championship. I think I said a few weeks back, it's going to be very difficult to make major changes to the tactics the way it's constructed and with the coach that came in. And sort of that's what we've seen so far. And unfortunately, it's hard to do that mid-season like this when you have very limited training schedules to do what you can, right? So let me ask you this, because we're seeing some comments on the chats, right, that they're agreeing that we're not seeing any change in the gameplay. Maybe we've regressed. We've got, what do we have here? What do you expect from the new coach? Is it realistic for fans to want to see a drastic change in tactics? Or is it we were spoiled a couple seasons back and we went on a magical run when we made a coaching change? So now we have that in our minds, and now we're sort of thinking, hey, we made a coaching change. It should all change. Things are fixed now, right? What do you think plays into this? I know there's not one straight answer, but what do you think plays into all this? Or what are your thoughts on this, right? We have no answers. I'm going to tell you this, folks. We don't know. We don't have a magic crystal ball that tells us what the precise answer. This is all going to be our opinions. I want to know what Nathan thinks on this. Should things be going better now that Coach Carlson's in charge, 2 matches in, and are we disappointed at this point from the way things have gone, or is this something you may have expected?
I mean, it's just, I cannot seem to see there's not one bad thing that's just super bad. It's just a bunch of little things that are just going wrong for us. So if we have Carlson, before coming to OCSC, he was a head coach. Like, he has experience doing this stuff, I'd say. And so with like the style of play, it's not all that different, but it is visually different. So like, I know that, especially in the last half on Saturday, we actually did play for midfield, played wide. It wasn't just kickball. And so, but at the same time, these are Chaplow's players they brought in. I know he brought in Andrew Fox, who is a very good center back at playing the long ball, playing over midfield to our forwards. Now, I don't know if we have the forwards to that fit that style of play, like we do it with Adamas, or even like in a Volson, or even like even like in a Coley, who could play hold up with the ball. You know, he wasn't the fastest guy, but he was a physical dude. He held the ball for us. Milan and the air forwards, I feel like are much better off like going one-on-one, carrying the ball with them. They're not. I don't want to say they're not meant to play a style, but like it's obviously what they are good at.
Yeah, I'm looking at this right. I'm gonna just say this: is we were really spoiled with what happened in 2021. We made a coaching change, and everything just worked out perfectly. You know, the dominoes lined up. They fell correctly. We won a championship. Typically, and props to Dylan, who's not here tonight to sort of talk about this, right? Props to Dylan. He sort of was saying this all along, is like we had a magical run. It worked out, but he was like, obviously he wasn't all for getting rid of Coach Braden Cloutier at the time. But we sort of got spoiled with that. And even I was like excited for the coach to change there. And I look back at it. A lot of it is just, hey, the last time this happened, everything turned out okay. And it worked out. Right. The problem here is, again, we heard all off season that this is Richard Chaplow's team. These are the players he wanted for his tactics that he's implementing in this off season. It didn't work out, unfortunately, for Coach Richard Chaplow, and amazing guy. And sorry that didn't work out. But now we have the new coach, but it's still the same players. And I want to say, so far, what I'm seeing is maybe the chemistry we haven't gelled as a team yet. There's still a lot of times where maybe they're not making the right pass or the right move, or the defense is, not quite there. And unfortunately, our goalie hasn't really had, I don't know, has Cody Cropper had a clean sheet yet so far? Yes, maybe one, but I'd hope to see more clean sheets from a goalkeeper. Nothing against Cody, but and it's not, we've always said this, and I teach my kids this, it's not the goalie's fault most of the time. Most of the time it's the defense let you down, and now it's up to you to make an amazing save or a goal goes in. It sucks because the goalie is held responsible for the goals that are let into the net, but a lot of time it's not his fault. It's the defense's fault. I haven't seen the cohesion with this team. And part of that maybe is, again, a lot of new players that came in, a coaching change now mid-season, some players injured, some players coming back, some players going to play with the youth national team. A lot of stuff going on here. I think that, to be realistic with this club, with the coaching change made mid-season, it's going to be a rough month or two until you can implement the new strategy. If we're expecting a drastic change in the game plan, right? If we're hoping to just see little tactical changes here and there, then it can obviously be implemented more quickly. Unfortunately, it sucks. And I know as fans, we all want to see a winning team. I think a lot of us are still looking at Orange County as a championship club. Hey, when we do our intro, we talk about we're the podcast of champions, and we're always going to be able to say that because we have won a championship. So we get to claim that, right? But unfortunately, I feel like 2021 was one of those things where I'd say it's like going to Vegas and putting all your money on like whatever, on one little thing that has like really little odds to win, and you still win, right? And that's what 2021 was for us. Just, it worked out perfectly. Everything happened right. The players were just in the right zone after the change. And it could be, who knows? I mean, the change to Carlson maybe isn't as big of a change for a lot of these players, because a lot of time when you make a coaching change, you might see like the first few games, the players pull off these magical goals or magical plays, and it works out and it looks amazing, and then you come back to reality. Hasn't quite happened yet. I want to say give it time. Unfortunately, that's what we have to look at in this situation. And unfortunately, we all came into this season really excited. We thought there was some really good moves and signings that were made. We thought we heard from the club all season long, hey, it's Richard Chaplow. He's got his system. He's got his players. We're going to be excited for this. But yeah, that's what maybe is going to happen. And maybe we have to lower our expectations, at least for the next couple months. Now, in 2 months, if we're still playing like this and we're still, what are we at right now? We've played 10 matches and we are at what, 6 points? So
yeah.
So in 10 matches from now, if we're only at 12 points, then we're going to have to say this is not, the change isn't working. Maybe it's the players at that point. Maybe we have to look at the players. Who knows? But yeah, it's frustrating. I get it, Orange County fans. It's frustrating for you. It's frustrating for us. I know, Nathan's writing stuff up, and I'm sure after some of these matches, it's like, oh, I got to write an article, or before the matches, oh, I got to write a preview. What am I going to say differently than I've been saying the last few weeks? We come onto the show and we're talking. What can we say differently? We're losing. It's not working. I can guarantee you the club is trying to figure out what's not working and how to fix it. I'm going to 100% say, I don't think Carlson's sitting there with the players and they're, just sitting there around, talking and drinking beers, if for those that are old enough, and they're just not even practicing, right? They're trying to figure out how to work this out. They're trying to figure out what they can do. Obviously it's not an easy job. I coach kids soccer, and I can admit it's not an easy thing to do, to try and do, figure out strategy mid-game, mid-match, or even between matches. So that's just my thought on it. Let me look and see what did some of what were some of the comments that we had on here. I did see, Russell did say the players didn't want to play for Braden. I don't know for sure if that was the case. Russell also said, realize most of the personnel decisions are Oliver and Pete. Chapel had sway, but not a final call. I can get you on that, Russell, but I know, talking with people from the club, the message was, this is Richard Chaplow's team. We're bringing in Richard Chaplow's players, the players that he needs and wants to succeed. I get it. He doesn't make the final call. Typically, it is Oliver, Peter that are the ones doing a lot of the scouting work and negotiations. But again, from what I remember hearing with the club messages, and maybe it's just they're smart and they're putting the blame on someone else, but a lot of the messages were, this is Richard Chaplow's team and his players. Let's do this. We're going to stop the talk about this. We're going to bring on a guest here really quick, just to sort of go into a different path here. We've got a guest, first time joining our show, I believe. And this is a man that came from UC Irvine to Orange County Soccer Club and joined the team. So let me welcome Orange County midfielder Ashish Chattha. I'm going to introduce you, or I'm going to welcome you by saying Zot, Zot, Zot. Welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
I'm doing good. I mean, obviously we could be doing better if there's some more wins going on with this club, but we know the club's trying to figure it out. I'm sure you guys are working hard to try and figure out how to get some wins on the board. Let me ask you this question though, because you transitioned from UCI coming to Orange County as a professional. We've seen players do that in the past. Most recently, there's Danny Crisosimo, who came over from UCI, played with Orange County for a couple seasons, then moved on, and now he's, I believe still playing with LAFC. If not, he's under contract with them at least. How did that all come about for you, joining Orange County from UCI? Did you look at that pathway and think, hey, that seems like a good pathway to go for me? Was there anything magical that happened to get you on this club, or how did that all come about?
Yeah, so once my collegiate season was over, Yossi, my UCI head coach, he actually got me a trial here at Orange County. It was a 2-day trial, so it was a Thursday, Friday, and Friday we had inter squad. And Richard, who was our coach at the time, liked the way I played, and that's when I got called to the game against Hamburg on Tuesday. So that was like my official trial, and I got to play one half, and they loved the way I played. And Peter and Oliver, offered me a contract in the parking lot right after the game. So I wasn't expecting to take the USL championship route, but I knew a lot about the USL, teams, and of course the goal out of college is like I want to get drafted. That was my goal ever since I entered college, and being a Earthquakes player when I younger, when I grew up playing in the Earthquakes academy and system like that, I was like maybe I'll be able to get a homegrown contract, but unfortunately it didn't go that way. But everything happens for a reason. I was super pleased to be able to come to Orange County and just ball out and get a contract. So that was how my trial and everything worked out for me.
And obviously very famous when Mike Watts was making the call for that Hamburg match. You were known as trialist.
Right.
They didn't even want to give him the name of who you are. I'm sure that was because they didn't want the world to know who was this guy that looks like a future soccer star in the league or something like that, which is awesome. Props to the club for doing that. How nice is it for a player like you, transitioning to UCI and then having these options? It's not like there's only one route to go, like in the past where it was you had to go to MLS. That was your dream if you wanted to play in the US. Now there's multiple options, whether it's USL, MLS, NISA, there's options for players. How awesome is that for a player like you as you're finishing your college career? Now you have these different paths you can look at, and how nice is that? Let me guess.
It's a great opportunity. I think the US is doing something well, having like many leagues as other countries does, but it's just a great opportunity. You start somewhere, and the end goal is, like, for me, is personally to make it to the MLS, but just knowing that I'm one step right behind the MLS playing the USL championship. I think having many leagues like that, just knowing that you would be able to move forward if you do well and have a good career, it's brilliant. I think it's really well done.
And then just having like someone like a Danny Crisosimo that has shown that that's actually a proven pathway that you can make from UC Irvine to Orange County and then make it to the MLS. Is that something that like gives you excitement, that you see that actually can work that way? If you play and you work hard, you can actually get to that level. Is that something that entices a player like you or any other player coming out of college when they see that type of pathway for them through the USL?
Oh yeah, definitely, most definitely. Just knowing that Danny was also a former UCI alum, and just knowing that he was also in the USL Championship playing for Orange County, played for Vegas Lights, and now he's at LAFC. I always look up to him as an idol. I wasn't able to play with him throughout college, but Yossi gave me his contact information. We became really good friends, so we're in touch. So just knowing that he's kind of on the same route that I was, it just gives me a lot of hope.
And then we all know you weren't originally a UCI player. You played, I believe, I can't remember where it was, so don't get mad at me. Let me know, where did you play before UCI?
Yeah, University of San Francisco, former Don too. Yeah.
So you were up north. You were like closer to home, I believe, because you're from that area, right? What was it like this past weekend going to Oakland or Hayward, playing against Oakland Roots? How many tickets did you have to comp or buy for your friends and family to come out to the match?
Yeah, I mean, I was able to get 30, but there was definitely a lot more than 30 people. There were some people that I didn't even know were coming. So, it was a blessing. It was my parents' first time to be able to see me playing as a professional. They haven't came to an Orange County game here at home, but it was a blessing, seeing all my friends and family that support my goals and dreams, just being out there and enjoying watching me play.
So we have some fans. I'm Nathan, I'll let you ask a question and then we'll get to some of these fan questions. So Nathan, what question do you have for Ashish?
Yeah, sure. Hey, Ashish. So I said that you are 2 months into your first real season of soccer, first professional season. Is it everything that you wish it was hoped? I know the results haven't been that great yet, but is it everything that you hoped it would be, or there's something that you still want to accomplish this year at least?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, the results aren't there yet, so kind of in the slum, just knowing that it's my first professional season, but definitely what I expected, the level, the quality, the players from all over the country, all over the world, everything is much faster. And like players like Danny Pedersen, Kyle Scott, all these players that played in higher leagues, just using them as an idol, using them as a mentor just really helps me build into my game. So yeah, I think it's everything I would want it to be.
Well done.
So we have Brad is typically a member of our show, but unfortunately he had more important things to handle tonight. So he had a question for you, and we put it on the screen here. So the question is, coming to OC, did you expect to be playing such a pivotal role so quickly? or was this a surprise to you?
Just going into any team for me, I was, just knowing what my talent is and, playing under Yossi, and he helped me become the player I am today. I kind of expect being in a pivotal role, but then I also, forget that, this is the professional environment. This is what they do for a living. So I was just, uh, I don't know. I was kind of iffy about it, but in the preseason when I was in the starting lineup for some games, I was like, yeah, maybe I'm gonna be a good strong player that's gonna be playing every game. But I didn't play the first game, but it makes sense because it was the debut game. But after that, after I came out on my debut, played my first professional USL Championship game, I thought I had the ability to start and keep playing. And after that, I felt like I was a really good player, good enough to actually be in the starting 11 squad. Yeah.
Is there a player on the club or a player or players on the club that have sort of that you feel like have given you some great advice or that have taken you under their wing and sort of helped mentor you or teach you how to be a professional and how to get to your goals, achieve your goals?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, like the players that played from other countries, mostly like I'll say Danny Pedersen, our captain. He's a midfielder, so that's someone that I really look up to. I feel like he's just mentored me, took me under his wing, and just he understands the game. He's such an experienced player, so just learning from him is like it's super important for me. So yeah, I feel like Danny Pedersen is that guy that I like really look up to.
Awesome. And we always hear, obviously because there's a great range of ages for players. There's some young players, there are older players. And we always learn that there's always these little, groups that sort of bond, become more, closer on the team. Who are some of those players that that you've grown some great relationships with on this team, friendships with, that you might hang out with outside of training and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely my roommates, which is Kyle Scott and Colin. And Thomas is another good one, and like you said, the youngers like Alex, Brady, Bryce, Joey. I'm really close with the youngers as well, and Milan,
Awesome.
Milan of course, Milan, the Losky brothers, almost everybody, to be honest.
Awesome. We have another question from a listener, Christopher. Asking, playing for OC, is the play different from what you played at UCI, and what's the biggest difference that you've seen playing for OC compared to UCI?
Right. Well, in the beginning of the season, playing for OC, I felt like we were very direct, and with the players that we have and the player that I am, I felt like that I'm a very possession-based player. I like to have the ball. I like to be on the ball. But yeah, playing for OC in the beginning of the season before Coach Morton became the head coach, I felt like we were very direct and very a long ball type of team with no build-up. And now seeing that Coach Morton is more of a possession-based coach, I felt like our team is well. The stats show that we've been passing a lot more. So I feel like we're on a good route right now. Like we're possession-based team, possession-based players, and I think that's the type of player I would want to be in with the OC. So I feel like we're doing pretty well now.
Good to hear. Nathan, do you have any other questions for Ashish? I don't want to hog all the question time.
Yeah. So have you found any like cool restaurants to eat at? Like, what's like your go-to spot to hang out with if you're not training or at home?
Well, definitely the beaches, because the beaches in SoCal are uncomparable compared to NorCal. We don't have beaches like Laguna Beach, Newport Beach, so definitely the beaches of a couple places. And food-wise, honestly, Cane's, because there's not many Cane's in NorCal. So yeah, I would say Cane's is like a spot that I would go to a lot if like being in SoCal.
I think you may upset some people because I think there's people that don't like Cane's because they don't offer ranch. I think that's like people get mad that they don't have ranch at Cane's, but they don't know that sauce is an amazing sauce, right?
Yeah.
Is there maybe a local Orange County business, whether it's a coffee shop or restaurant or something that you love that you want to give a shout out to help support a local business? Or
oh yeah, for sure. Kava is something that we don't have in NorCal. And Kava,
you talk about like the Mediterranean subway style, right? Where you go and
right.
get all the good stuff on there. Oh, I love that place.
Yeah.
I love that place.
Yeah, Kava
it's one of my favorites.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. I'm a huge music fan. Obviously my handle is DJ Race Moore. I used to DJ. If you opened up, I don't know if you use Spotify, Apple Music, whatever, but if you opened it up right now and you open up, what song would be on your what would be on the queue right now playing?
Right now, it would probably be a Little Baby.
You're not the first player to say Little Baby. I think
Yeah.
we've heard that in the past. I unfortunately I don't listen to Little Baby, so I don't know too much about it. But maybe you can educate that on us. You can educate us on that in the near
Yeah.
future. Do you have a pump up song before matches, or is it Little Baby, or do you have like something that like is a pattern, like a pump up song that you get before a match that you listen to?
Definitely just any Little Baby song and NBA YoungBoy as well. Yeah, those are my go-to artists.
All right.
Yeah,
All right. And then if you had to go out karaoke, what would be your karaoke song? Obviously, I don't think they have Little Baby or NBA YoungBoy on the karaoke list. What would be the song that you'd be singing at the karaoke joint if you were forced to get up there?
Probably like a Bruno Mars song.
Bruno Mars, which would it be a slower or more like Uptown Funk? What would you be
something like, yeah, I mean, depends on like the scenario, but if definitely like Uptown Funk. Yeah,
that's always that's a good one. That's a great Bruno Mars song, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And then I have to ask this question because Dylan's not here, but this is a question he has asked every guest from the club that has come on. And the question is, what is your favorite vegetable and how do you prepare it? How do you cook it?
Ooh, I would have to say, that's tough. Probably asparagus.
And how do you like to cook your asparagus?
Yeah, I'll either, put it on the fry pan, just like steam it or air fry it, honestly.
I just caught on to air fryers like 6 months ago, and it's like the greatest thing ever. I love it.
It's the best thing invented.
It makes things so easy.
Yeah, it definitely does. I cook everything in there.
What are your hopes? What are you looking maybe into the future here with this club? Let's look 2 months down the road. In your sort of dream scenario or your realistic scenario, let's go realistic. What do you expect Orange County? Are we going to see a different Orange County 2 months down the road? Because I get it. Changing a style of play is difficult midseason, and you guys have only had a couple weeks to make some changes, right? 2 months down the road, after you've had some time to really work on some of these changes, what can fans expect to see out of Orange County?
Yeah, definitely. Be in a playoff spot. I believe it's top 8, and hopefully we're top 4 out of the top 8. Just playing against San Diego, which was our first game with Coach Morton. Just saying how many passes we made and how threatful we were, and just luck wasn't on our side. We lost 2-1, but I felt like we created so many opportunities. Just knowing that if we keep that same attitude, the same belief, and the same play style, I definitely believe that we could be a playoff team and be a top 4 team.
Awesome. Any last comments you have for any of our listeners, either listening live or that are going to be listening to the podcast version of this in the near future?
Just don't stop believing in us. We're going to do everything we can on the pitch, and hopefully we'll make it all the way to, as far as possible with a top 4 spot, top 8 spot. But yeah, just don't stop believing.
And then can you teach us, how do we do a proper zot, Mr. UCI?
Yeah, so it's basically these 2 fingers, and you have like the little antler. So you got to bring the thumb back a little bit, and it's just zot.
There we go. If you want to follow Ashish on Twitter, there's his Twitter handle on the screen, @legend_Ashish. Ashish, great. Awesome first time on our show. We hope to hear from you soon. Hopefully we'll have you back on. We can talk to you when the club's getting a little bit more wins under their belts and it's a little bit more exciting stuff to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, midfielder for Orange County, Ashish Chattha, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Awesome having Ashish on the show. I mean, you get all these different players there. Ashish, man, he's like comfortable answering these questions. He's just like nice and simple. Didn't have to think too hard. I love it. Sounds like a really great guy. And I love like that he has this confidence in not just himself, but the team, that we're going to see something 2 months from now. We're going to see a team that's fighting for playoff spots, if not even more on that, which is awesome to hear. And for those of you that we're talking about haven't seen much change, Ashish, he didn't bring like the proof of his stats, but he's letting you know, hey, there's better pass numbers and there's better possession numbers coming from this club. So maybe we are just not noticing the change that we're talking about. For Orange County to start a run, maybe this is the week to do so. They got 2 matches against some tough teams. The first one is just less than 48 hours away, against Sacramento, who is first in the West. Nathan, are we? How excited are we about this match? Maybe they could pull off an upset?
I mean, with Republic, who are good on both ends of the side, I mean, I've I've seen way bigger upsets turn out. So like, just it's a midweek game. Anything can happen. So
Anything is possible, right?
it's possible.
And we look at it, right? Sacramento is the only team in the league that has not lost a match in the league. So that's maybe Orange County could be that first team to give them the loss, right? That'd be awesome. We got to talk about this because we didn't really talk about it after the last match, but we got to get into some predictions. Do you have any last thing to say about Sacramento? Have you looked into Sacramento and what to expect out of them? Unfortunately, we don't have a Sacramento expert on here, but is there anything you think Orange County can do to pull that upset off?
Yeah, so I think to be honest, you have to score something at least, because they've drawn a few times against, well, we checked out like they drew against teams like San Antonio, who are good. They smoked Louisville, like Charleston. So it's probably going to be the biggest test of the season, and it's going to probably not end up I want to, but if we can keep it within a 1-goal game, I think that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, Sacramento's only given up 3 goals all season. So. They're top in the league for that, and Orange County's given up 18. They're second from the bottom. The only team to give up more goals than them is Hartford this season. If you could score against Sacramento, you're giving yourself a good shot, right? That great analysis there. I like it, Nathan. You know what you're talking about. Let's look at. We're gonna make predictions on this. We're gonna pull up our prediction sheet here, and I don't know because we don't have Brad here right now. I don't know if it's open for people to put their picks in, but once it is open, if you go check it, we'll put in our picks for this. We're gonna make predictions for this match. And then we have to talk about Phoenix and make some quick predictions for that. But you won't be able to do your Phoenix predictions, I don't think, until after. I don't know. I don't know how the thing works. Brad would have to tell us, and he's not here. Maybe you can make both predictions right now. But let's look at the scores right there. I'm still in last for the on-air team. And Nathan, you're part of that writing team, and you're right there with you and Jenks are the top 2 there. But it's a really close battle there. Look at all of you. And there's our community. Look at that. We got who's got 22 points? I can't even read that. It's so small.
That's Kayvon.
I apologize. Kayvon, look at that. 22 points is like the person running away with points on this so far. What is your prediction for the game against Sacramento?
My heart says 1-1 draw, but my brain says we're going to lose 3-0. I think it's going to be definitely learning experience for Carlson, for the players. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. I think a loss.
So no, obviously you don't have to pick a goal scorer for Orange County because you're predicting that we're scoring 0 goals. Hey, I'm going to go 2-0 Orange County. I usually like to have someone make a random pick from me, but hey, I'm going to try and be smart this week. So I'm going to do 2-0 Orange County, and the first goal scorer for Orange County is going to be Ashish because he joined the show for us today. So he will be the first goal scorer for the club this weekend against Sacramento. So quick turnaround from Oakland to Sacramento, and then Sacramento to Phoenix. Luckily, those 2 games are at Championship Soccer Stadium, so you don't have the worries of travel, at least between the Sacramento and Phoenix match. But Phoenix is always an interesting match. They tend to have a lot of fans drive out for the matches against Orange County. They like to claim that this is their second home stadium, although they've had like 5 home stadiums in Phoenix. So I don't know like how things work on that. If you're looking at these 2 matches, Sacramento, Phoenix, is Phoenix the one maybe that you're focusing on that Orange County can realistically get the win, Nathan? Or do you think it's going to be just as difficult against Phoenix?
I mean, to be honest, I think we actually have a better chance of at least earning a draw. I think we'd win versus Phoenix. We seem to have had their number past couple of years, which sounds crazy to say, but like I think we gave them the last one of our last wins was versus them, and last season away was the game that we should have won, but we drew because of just stupid mistakes late in that game. So I think for the Phoenix game, I will say a 2-1 OC victory, and I will copy you in saying that Chattha will get us first.
Is there anything about Phoenix that scares you?
To be honest, my Phoenix knowledge this year is not the greatest. I haven't had the chance to research them for a pregame, but no, I think they're a little bit improved from last year, but this is not the same Phoenix team that was dominating the league back in 2018, 2019, even 2020. So I think we'll pull out a much needed victory on Saturday.
Awesome. And we see some of your predictions coming through. Make sure you put those into the fancy Google form that Brad created so we can get an official record of that for everyone. Yeah, I haven't really paid much attention to Phoenix. And as you're looking at the table, Phoenix is sitting in 8th. They're only 5 points ahead of Orange County. Not 5, 7 points ahead of Orange County on the table. But I think Orange County always at least sort of comes to those matches against Phoenix. Even though we have changes of players and stuff like that, I feel like just they know that this is like a big match against Phoenix. It's one of those things, just like San Diego has become for us as well. I'm hoping they're going to be energetic, and I'm hoping we're going to get a second victory in a row. And 6 points this week for Orange County. Orange County is going to beat Phoenix 4-2. And who is going to be the first goal scorer on this one? I'm going to go with Milan. Milan's going to be the first goal scorer against Phoenix in this match. Again, make sure you put in your picks for this so we can get that. Let's do this. Let's start wrapping some things up here. We'll get into some random thoughts. If you have any random thoughts, Nathan, this is your chance to do so. It could be soccer related. It could be non-soccer related. Yeah. What's your random thought?
I mean, this probably be podcast related, but is this really our 200th episode?
This really is
the
official 200th episode. We've done we don't count like those special pregame at the stadium episodes as like numbered episodes. Those are sort of special episodes, but this is officially our 200th like weekly episode, or at least, consistent episode that we do on a certain night. We did have like 3 or 4 sort of soft launch episodes that were like preview episodes of what the show would be like. But yeah, this is officially episode number 200. And come a month from now, we started in 2018. It's now 2023. So it'll be our 5th year celebration in just about a month, which is pretty awesome. I know a lot of USL and soccer podcasts have come and gone during our time that we've done this. We're still alive and kicking. And I like to say we're doing even better than we ever had done. We have more contributors. We have more people that actually are listening live and commenting with us. So it's really an awesome thing. And thanks to all of y'all that listen and support and talk to us and engage with us, because that's a big help to keep us excited about doing this. Especially when there's a couple tough seasons and the team is struggling. It's sometimes hard to get on and do this. So thank you so much for everyone that has helped support the podcast for 200 episodes now. Did you have anything else, Nathan, or was that your random thought on this?
I think that was the main one. Can't think of anything else. No, I'd say definitely, I've only been here about 4 of those 200 episodes, but I don't say, well done to you guys. Good job to our team on production, writing, everyone around. Just good job. We've come a long way, but there's still a lot more to do.
Yes, we have come a long way. We're still growing. We're still learning how to do this thing and make this thing seem more professional than we actually are. But for my random thought, I'm because Dylan's not here, I feel like, and Dylan hasn't done this in a while, I'm going to do like a book thing. I'm not going to recommend it. I'm just going to let y'all know what I'm reading right now. I did have a work conference a couple weeks back, and there was like the final speaker of the conference, Heather McGee. She came up and spoke, and it was just a really amazing topic, and she was just really amazing speaker and really engaged and got people's attention. So her book is The Sum of Us, and it is what racism cost everyone and how we can prosper together. So I've just started the book based off of, again, seeing her at a conference and just being really interested in it. So I will read the book. I will let you know what my thoughts are if you want to ever talk to me off camera. Obviously, this isn't an economics podcast, so I don't want to bore everyone. But yeah, if anyone ever wants to know in a I don't know how long it's going to take me to read because I don't read things. You know, I have a short attention span, so I'll read like for 30 minutes or 10 minutes and move on. And but if anyone wants to know, let me know. I'll let you know when I'm done reading, and you can ask me what my thoughts are on that. There we go. I guess for anyone that was participating in episode 200, you get a free high five from Andy the drummer at Wednesday's game. You have to be at Wednesday's game to get that free high five, though. I like it. Andy's trying to get people to come out to the match on a midweek match, which is always difficult to do. I want to thank everyone involved with the podcast, not just for tonight's podcast, Nathan, obviously, Andy, but anyone that contributes to our podcast, whether it's the written side or the podcast on-air talent. I want to thank all of y'all for all the hard work, 200 episodes, like Nathan mentioned. Also, our guest tonight, Ashish, awesome guest. Definitely hoping to have him back on because, man, I want to learn more about his path and where he's hoping to get to and how things are going, you know, with the club and trainings and practices and all that. And obviously, again, everyone that's listening to the podcast, either in the live video formats that we do, or if you listen to it later on, thank you for doing so. Make sure you go on our website to read anything that Nathan or any of our other writers have been writing. They've been doing a great job of doing previews, recaps, and then even some specialty articles here and there. So it's awesome. If you have some time and you want to stop working for 10, 15 minutes and read what we have to say on there. Awesome job on there. As always, thank you for listening. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, and we are out.